Every year, about 20,000 people are diagnosed with breast cancer, and 40% of them will have a mastectomy. Fewer than 20% of those have a breast reconstruction. And the Breast Cancer Network Australia has conducted a survey of women who've had mastectomies, and it found almost a quarter of women in the public system were left waiting more than a year for reconstruction. Many waited even longer. Here's Rebecca's story, captured by ABC photographer Brendan Esposito.
I love swimming, I've always loved swimming, but there's one thing that I now find quite challenging. I'm fine with the swimming, but the change rooms are always a bit confronting. I don't feel ready to be on display, so this is where I get changed. I don't want to have to remember to take my breast everywhere with me. I want my body to just be attached to me. It's so frustrating. It is just so frustrating. And particularly when I was saying quite early on, I want a reconstruction. Then they said you have to wait till 2 years after surgery. Then getting a referral and discovering that I was on another 1 year waiting list. I came home and cried. It's just, seriously. I just want to be able to say, yes, it's done, it's finished, I'm moving on with my life.
Well, Kirsten Pilati is the CEO of the Breast Cancer Network of Australia and joins us now. Kirsten, thank you so much for being with us. What are your thoughts hearing Rebecca's story there?
Sadly for Breast Cancer Network Australia, Rebecca's story is all too familiar to us, which is really why we sparked our breast reconstruction report, where more than 3,000 women participated in it, and it reads for some pretty sad news, actually.
So why are so few women having breast reconstruction after a mastectomy? Are these women that want the surgery but, like Rebecca, having to wait?
There's quite a lot of factors in it, which is why our report calls on all of the cancer industry to come together to make for better improvements for women who have been diagnosed with breast cancer. But it really does start with that very important meeting between the woman and the surgeon, where they are discussing the treatment options. And what our report clearly found was that those discussions are not including the importance of a breast reconstruction discussion. For our members, it is about knowing all of their information. That gives them the power to make the best possible choices for their treatment. And if that conversation doesn't happen very early on, it can lead to very long delays for people, but also not just the physical reconstruction that the women are asking for, but the emotional impact that not getting a reconstruction can have on so many people. And Rebecca is just one example of that.
What difference then does it make to women to have this reconstruction surgery done for their recovery?
One of our absolute frustrations is that breast reconstruction has so often been seen as cosmetic. But you know, you talk to women like Rebecca and thousands of women across our country, and BCNA speaks to them every day. And we know that getting their body rebuilt is a really important part of them coming back to their life after a breast cancer diagnosis, where their life has been turned upside down. And to have the delays in reconstruction, not having those important conversations early on with clinicians, it can lead to very long-term emotional damage and trauma for these women. And they don't need that on top of them actually staring their life down the line after breast cancer itself.
Not every woman wants to have reconstruction surgery, though. Is that right, Kirsten?
It's really important that those discussions happen and a woman has a choice. And, you know, it's very clear through our network that for some people, just having one more surgery is just too much and they want to stay flat. And in fact, we have been recently did a podcast, which is one of our most popular, about choosing to stay flat. And it is about making sure that those conversations happen early on so every woman gets to make the right choice for them. and not something that is just presumed because you're older, you won't want a reconstruction, or because you're younger, you'll want a reconstruction. There are so many things that happen in those first meetings that are critical to give the power back to the patient through information.
Is cost a factor in this, Kirsten? What are the different experiences women have between the public and the private system?
So there's quite a few challenges. In the public challenge, we've certainly got a challenge which has been overlaid with COVID around waiting times. But I think people understand that in the public setting, there may be some waiting times for breast reconstruction. It was great in our report to see so many immediate reconstructions happen. So that means the breast cancer is being removed and the breast is being rebuilt at the same time in the public setting. But for many people, they're being forced through those waiting times and the unbearable wait. They're being forced into the private setting. And our report found that more than 20% of people had out-of-pocket costs of more than $10,000. Wow. Now, you should not have your health determined by how much money you have in your bank. And I think that's the real challenge for us. How do we deliver a system that can make sure that all Australians receive the very best treatment and care, no matter where they live, what their postcode is, or what their financial affordability is?
So we heard Rebecca there saying she was told she'd have to wait 2 years after having had her mastectomy before any reconstruction surgery could take place. So is there a problem, not just women not getting all the options laid on the table for them, but also there's misinformation? Was that misinformation? Was that incorrect?
Communication about waiting lists is one of the big things that we're calling for in our report. We need much clearer transparency by the governments to know how many people are actually on the waiting list, and for the woman to understand where she is on the waiting list. What we understand from the women is they have no clarity. In fact, more than 40% had never had any communication about where they were on the waiting list, or if in fact they were on a waiting list. So we must have much better communication between the hospitals and the woman waiting so that she can really understand and then once again be empowered to make the right choice for her, because going private may be an option for her, but she has to understand where she is in the system. And there is absolutely no doubt that we are going to see that COVID and the restriction of elective surgery is going to impact our waiting times for reconstruction. So now it is absolutely essential that the communication be very clear to the patient on those waiting lists.
Kirsten Pilati, thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
And you can get more on that story on the ABC website, which includes some moving case studies, including Rebecca's. You should check it out.